What's going on, guys? East Coast Garage back with another video. Today we're going to be doing an oil change on my 2019 WRX. I'm going to take you through step by step how to do it, show you what I got here. So this is actual Subaru oil. This is what you want to use, full synthetic 5W30 when you're doing an oil change on your Subaru. We also got a filter, if I can get it open. Go. Filter. So I actually got this on Amazon. It's about $50 for everything here for the whole oil change. I have Amazon Prime, so there's no shipping charge. So this is going to be a $50 oil change that you can do yourself. You only need a few basic tools, and I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to pull the car in, and we'll get started. So Subaru makes it really easy, and they stick the filter right here on top. So that's easy to get to. But the drain plug is underneath. So I'm going to jack up this side of the car just so I can slide underneath and undo the drain plug. I'll show you where it is when I get under there. Just keep in mind you really want to do an oil change when the vehicle isn't hot. There's going to be hot oil coming out unless you're wearing gloves or you're just really careful. Everything you touch under there is going to be hot. The oil is going to be hot. So just keep that in mind. Try and let it cool down before you dive into an oil change. When working on cars, safety first. Use a jack stand. This jack can let go at any minute, and if you're under there, the car's going to fall right on you. It only takes a second to make sure you're safe. Go ahead and let some of the weight down onto that jack stand. There we go. Now I have the jack and the jack stand holding up the weight of this car, so I know I'm going to be safe when I'm under there. Alright, so I'm under the front of the WRX right now. There's the bottom of the oil pan. There's your drain plug right there. I'm going to go ahead and grab a wrench to get on that. So if this is the front right here, front bumper, you got these plastic pieces coming back. This steel skid plate, or aluminum rather, and then you have your drain plug right there. So I'm going to go ahead and get a drain pan and a socket and ratchet to put on that, and we'll get this draining. Alright, we're back under the car. We got a 14mm socket. I don't know if you can see that. 14mm socket. We're going to go ahead and loosen this up. We just have it on a ratchet and a small extension. Gonna go ahead and break that free. There we go. Should be able to do the rest by hand now. I got my oil pan here ready. I'm gonna go ahead and loosen it up. There we go. Just keep in mind, this is a very, very short drain plug here. So I didn't expect it to come out that quick. It was like 4 turns and it was out. I'm gonna go ahead and let that drain. So you want your vehicle as flat as possible when you're doing an oil change. You don't want it tipped up to one side because the oil could go to that side of the oil pan. So we had this jacked up so that we could slide under it. Now we're going to let it back down on the ground as it's draining. So the drain plug is out right now and it's draining out. So we're going to let it back down on the ground so everything's level and let it drain for a minute. Back it up a bit. Pull the jack stand out. And then go ahead and set the car down. So we're going to go ahead and just let this finish draining. While it's doing that, I'm going to pull off the filter here, the oil filter. I'm going to pop that off and go ahead and put the new one in. So it should just be on hand tight. Put a little elbow grease into it. Should come right off. Yep, just like that. There we go. Looks like everything's draining. I'm going to go ahead and wipe this out. Clean it up a bit. It's okay if there's still some oil there. You're putting 6 quarts of fresh oil in. If there's a little bit of excess old oil, that's not going to be a problem. So at this point, I would just put the two filters next to each other and just make sure they look the same. Everything looks the same up here. The size of the gaskets looks the same. So I'm guessing these are the same filter. I got my new one here, the old one there. They're going to want to put a little bit of oil around this gasket to create a good seal. So you can just pull out the oil pan, dip your finger in the drain oil, and put a little bit on the seal right here. It doesn't have to be fresh oil. I'm just going to use the oil that's sitting in here. Just grab a little and put it around this gasket. Create a good seal. And then just how it came off, it goes back on. Put it on hand tight. You don't need any tools for this. Just put it on as tight as you can put it on by hand. That's about all I got right there. That'll do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and jack the car back up, slide back under there, pull the oil pan out, and put the oil drain plug back in. I'm only gonna be under there for a few seconds, but my life is worth more than a few seconds, so put the jack stand back under there before you crawl under there. Takes a second, safety first. So back under here, just gonna slide the oil pan out. Just make sure you check your drain plug for a seal. This is like a crush washer. Mine was stuck to the bottom or to the top of the drain plug, so I didn't even really realize it was there. And I stuck a razor blade underneath it and popped it out. So just make sure you check real close. It might not look like it has one, but I guarantee it does. And then they send you a new one to put on. So just double check that before you just throw the drain plug back on. That would not be good if you double crush washered it. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this back on. Sliding back under the car. Go ahead and put the drain plug in. Just opposite of how it came out. This doesn't have to be crazy tight. Just give it a little, just enough to crush that crush washer. You don't want to over tighten it. It's just aluminum. That should do it, just like that. Go ahead and set the car down and fill it up with oil. So this is a 6-quart motor. I would go ahead and put 5 quarts in and then check the oil before adding the last quart. You're hoping that all of the oil came out, but if some happen to be still in the motor, you don't want to overfill it with oil. So I'm just going to start the first bottle here. Pour it in. If you don't have a funnel, if you can pour the first one in without spilling any, you can cut the bottom off and use one of the quarts of oil as a funnel. Works real well like that. Stick it in like this, cut around the bottom, and there you go, you got a funnel. But I have a funnel, so I'm just going to go ahead and use that. Alright, so that's 5 quarts of oil. I'm going to go ahead and check the oil level before I put the 6th one in, just to make sure we're not overfilling it. Just pull out the dipstick, grab a rag, wipe it clean, dipstick back in, back out, and just check the fill level. You're looking to go to that the second dot. I don't know if you can see that. You got one dot up towards the front and then one over here, and you're trying to get to that second one. That's the full level. Anywhere in between there is good. You can check it a couple times as all the oil is draining into the tank. We're still a little low. I'm gonna put half of the 6th one in and then check it again. So that's about 5.5 quarts there. I'm gonna check it. Give it a second to drain down. Check the level again. Yeah, that's plenty of oil. That's it. I got 5.5 quarts of oil in here. I'll go ahead and put cap back on. Filter's tight. Dipstick is in. Drain plug is in underneath. At this point, I'm going to start the car up to let all the oil circulate through the filter and everything, because the filter will be empty right now. And then I'm going to check the oil level again. Everything looks good. There's nothing dripping underneath, nothing leaking up here. I think we're done. Well, thanks for watching. I hope that can help somebody do their own oil change, maybe save themselves a few dollars. You really only need that one 14mm socket. Other than that, you don't need any tools, maybe a jack. The car should come with a jack, so you can just use that. I have a floor jack because I'm always working on cars. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next one.